coordinate a time to meet to go through Polyfolio acceptance, and we can discuss on that chat when is a good time for us to meet. I know we didn't get a chance to meet today because we had uh, there was a marketing meeting, but maybe we can still meet this week to go through that process.
Yep, that sounds great. I'll respond to that DM in a little bit.
Okay, amazing. And Joe can help coordinate. I'm going to be out tomorrow, so if you guys want to meet tomorrow, that's perfectly fine. I'll follow up after that, but otherwise we can meet on Friday or next week. That's fine. It's not like anything is burning. But of course, we want to just get acceptance and talk about some of the blockers and make sure that we have a strategy to address those once those gets resolved, and then ongoing as well. All right, Joe, all yours. Sorry about that
All
diversion.
right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Technical Council meeting on June 8th, 2022. Today we'll be talking about features, but before we dig into the features, I'm wondering, do we want to schedule what our breakout sessions for standards will be on Friday?
Yeah, so let
Uh,
me
So if I go to last week's standards agenda, we have these in final feedback. So I don't think we need,
yeah,
uh,
those already been accepted.
okay,
So I'll just need to post those. So if do you mind going to um the project plan to the standards component?
yes. Yeah.
So I just wanted to confirm. So for this week's Friday, I'd like to schedule two more review sessions, and I think that we were talking about no invocation standards is in progress. Can you just scroll down, please? WebAssembly runtime, I think we discussed as the next one. Um, so that, of course, Jordan, Nestor, can you drop that down?
yeah, so
Yeah.
just a quick note. I think that the URI resolution standard is really quick, or like is really close to being in the final phases. And so I'm not sure what Yuri's update is on that. And then I also think that the invocation standard is really close to being in final phases. But I haven't had time to work on it. And
Do
so
we
I
want to
would
do a
definitely,
workshop just on
yeah,
Fridays? Okay,
yeah, I
let's.
was just gonna say that I think a workshop on Friday would be great.
Okay, so let's do that, and then I was gonna
So
schedule a second one with. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Was that Yuri? You were gonna say
yeah,
something?
yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the URI resolution standard was supposed to be back last week, but we didn't have enough time.
So you
Yeah,
don't
that's
need,
fine. So
so you don't need a workshop on that. We need to have feedback.
Not before final feedback. Yeah.
Right. And what was the second one? I'm sorry, I didn't.
It would be nice to have a workshop on the invocation standard.
That's it.
taking a note. So we'll schedule it for Friday, invocation standard. URI resolution will add to the agenda for next. We'll retain that to do a final review and final feedback with the technical council, and then we need to pick one more that doesn't involve Yuri and Jordan, so we can
We
run
could
it
do
in
the URI
parallel.
resolver then.
This one here, URI
Yeah.
resolver. Okay. And that's Yuri,
So
right?
to get this straight, so the invocation and resolver are for Friday for workshops, and the resolution is for Wednesday for the council.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think we should have some other people maybe raise their hand to help out with these workshops. So I know that Yuri is leading the Resolver workshop, but is there anyone else that would want to jump on board the Resolver standard to help Yuri with that?
Yeah, I
Um,
can do
yeah, and I would like to be there. Since I'm not like that expert at this point, I guess you guys are more, but I would like to be there, and yep, I can help you get it.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
CNC and Mirage.
we should definitely have at least two people per standard.
And this is you, right, Cesar?
See, that's me.
See. Okay.
And then the other person that said yes was
Mirage.
Niraj.
Mirage.
Yeah.
Okay, and would anybody like to help out with the invocation standard?
Are those happening at the same time on Friday? I mean the workshops. If not, I can be on both.
We can, considering the fact that it's the same, it ended up being the same group. Maybe we should just have one workshop end to end to cover all the URI, the invocation standard and the URI resolver. What do you think?
I think they're fairly lightweight, so we could have them both at the same time in the same channel.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay,
I
we can.
honestly feel like that's a good approach to these workshops. Unless it's something that needs way too much discussion. So yeah, we could add Caesar to the invocations.
I think I heard Niraj too wanted to join this one, or Niraj, do you want to take something else on in a separate channel during that time?
So yeah, isn't URI so is URI resolver and invocation standard happening simultaneously, or is it like back to back? What so I
I
didn't
think
get that.
we're gonna, yeah. So I think we're gonna do one channel is going to be invocation standard and URI resolver back to back, and then we can have a separate channel, another discussion and workshop going on at the same time. So unless you want to be part of URI resolver and invocation standard discussion, we can schedule something else for you and maybe Nestor, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. If it helps, like, make us more, uh, yeah, make us progress toward developing more standard, then yeah, we can schedule other things also.
So one thing that might be a good fit, just take a look at which ones were either solarization standard, to start with, or plugins.
Yeah,
Or or maybe WebAssembly runtime. Well, I don't know. What do you
just
think?
thinking about it kind of practically, I think that doing the serialization standard would be an easy next one because it doesn't really have much dependencies on anything. And I also think that Niraj probably has some good context there. So how do you feel about leading that Niraj?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you can remove me from the URI repository that yes, and
Remove you
maybe
from the
Nestor or
URI.
Chris can join me.
Okay. All right, let's set it up for this Friday as well to at least kick that process off.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay. That's all.
Just to mention, it'd be nice to have maybe Nestor on the URI resolver since he expressed interest in working on similar stuff post alpha. Would it take Nestor?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
This one. UI.
Resolve.
That's resolution.
Resolve. Right.
Yeah, and just kind of a meta point. Should we just join the resolver ticket with the resolutions ticket?
And A.
I
Nemesis.
mean,
Yeah.
technically, they're different standards. I kind of feel like. Or
It's the
maybe it
one
could be
that-
one big step.
Oh, okay, got it. So it should still be separate. Okay, cool.
Okay, so I think these are our workshops for Friday. Thank you, everybody, for coming to agreement on that. I didn't see any new feature requests this week in the in Discord, so none reported, but I'll continue to keep that section. Now, similar to what we're doing with the standards, with these features, do we also want multiple folks working on them at the same time so we can continue to move forward if folks get
I think
busy?
so. I think that's a must-have because that was the point of the features to have more people be able to give technical feedback and decision.
So what about the? So there's really these three here have been our most active up to this point. So let's do that with these three. So who'd like to help out with the multi-client ecosystem support?
I can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I would like to also, definitely.
Okay.
You're on it already, Nestor.
Ah,
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
the
and
owner.
and also I just wanted to add here that also Matt from PWV is here. And
Hey guys.
he's he's leading the development of the Python client. And he was also interested in helping maybe define what the test harness looks like. And so yeah, Matt, would you like to be added here or no?
Yes, I'm just pulling up this page right now so I can make sure that I'm signing on to the right thing. But yes, I would like to assist in any sort of technical council work relating to multi-language clients.
Okay, cool. And I don't think Matt's showing up for us, Joe.
Okay.
But I can make sure he's added to the GitHub org and
See if you can add the PWV account directly, if that's one of the options.
Okay, yeah. Can you type in PWV, Joe? PWV.
Yep.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you added Pilex instead of me.
Oh.
Yeah, so we should remove Pilex and add Yuri Nerfzale.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing me who's selected now. Hold on.
Yeah, if you type
Just
in
search for Pilex, yeah.
type P, there you go.
So we have two Yuris.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yeah.
Oh,
So
I wasn't aware of that. So what's your
The-
handle, Yuri?
the other one is
Nerfzale.
Nerfzale.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What's your
NERF. NERF. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a name. Okay, I'll update that. That's probably GitHub. GitHub profile.
Okay. All right. So we got those folks.
Yeah, and thanks for being so good about all the backseat driving, Joe.
That's what I do. What about this one? Who wants to help with the integration testing framework? I know that this one's pretty far along, but probably should get more folks involved here as well.
So, could you quickly fill us in, Niraj, with where this is at? Because you recently made a bunch of progress with that, with this.
Yeah, so the feedback there was to create what we can do in this next MVP. So currently, like I am as we discussed, like we are using the workflows and everything, and I will also be adding one small feature there, like to do the output constraint test, and so there that would be like a proof of concept or something like that to how that would work out in the workflow. But yeah, in future we will have, as we discussed, we will have the project, and we still uh, so yeah, we still need to plan out the roadmap, or how do we want to progress with this, or how do we want to divide this large task. So that would be the next step. But yeah, I think the architecture is good enough, and what we need to do is like divide the uh, requirement into like different chunks, so that we can add it add requirement in phases.
Okay, so hey Joe, would you mind just clicking on the drop down for the feature status? Feature
Yeah.
status drop down. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask Niraj, do you think that for this one, we already have a draft, we've already gotten some initial feedback because you've been talking to people about it. Um, do you think that we need to actually create like a design document for this? Maybe so we could use it to write our documentation in the future. Yeah. Do you think that we should document what the design of this looks like?
Yeah, I think so, and we should also like have concrete issues, like issues and like milestones of when we want to like do maybe like do this first set of tasks in the next release or something, and do these three yeah do these next three tasks in the release after that, and things like that, like to define the horizontal time milestones, and also divide the this feature in different issues, because this is very big feature.
Okay, got it. So we need to create a final design, and then we need to basically create like a roadmap for implementing the design. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we update these statuses to include those additional statuses regarding the milestones and decomposition?
Yeah, I think that that would make sense. Yeah, that does seem like a natural process for these features.
Okay.
But yeah, we can do that later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're still kind of feeling out like what this like life cycle looks like of a feature.
Right. Because this is at the highest level. So I think, from what I heard you say, the actual status right now is applying feedback, and it's mostly been applied, I think. But we'll get those new statuses in there. So is anybody going to help you with this, or that would be on the decomposed tasks? So we haven't really talked about that, how we want to decompose stuff. Does it get decomposed into here as additional features, or how do we want to do that? Do we want to decompose it within this ticket as, a list of checkboxes?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this the other day. I'll probably post something about this in more detail, but I think that the feature designs we create here, and the implementation plans that we create here, will end up feeding into the roadmap planning portion of our org.
Okay.
That's where it'll get prioritized, and it'll get assigned to developers to implement all that stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I think that the most we'll do is a rough implementation plan, and
Okay.
then the roadmap planning meeting will be for actually creating all those subtasks and assigning them and all that stuff.
Okay, so that won't happen within the context of this board.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, good.
Okay, so the next step here would just be to create the subtask for this particular feature, and then we will discuss about roadmap of what goes into the current roadmap in the roadmap meeting, right?
Yeah, for this, we need to create a spec, like a featured design spec, so that there's a single source of truth of what this looks like, and then some rough implementation details. So if that looks like a list of kind of sub tasks, then so be it. But you don't necessarily need to create a whole bunch of subtasks on GitHub. But yeah, if you want to, feel free. Um, but yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because yeah, the purpose of this this like feature design meeting that we're having right now is just to create a process for designing features. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone would like to help me with this one? I think we are very near the milestone, and we just need to like create this spec document. Other than that, I think many things are like sorted out.
Yeah, who's been talking with you the most about this, Niraj? Has it been me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hop on this and I can help.
Okay.
Okay, and then yeah, for the manifest files, I've been working with uh, Nerf Zale on this. Um, so NER, yeah. Um, and yeah, we should try to wrap this up soon. Yeah, but is there anyone else interested in helping with the manifest file restructuring? I know that Caesar, recently you've been thinking about this quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to help.
Okay, cool.
I have a few thoughts on this, which yeah, I
Awesome.
would like to discuss eventually. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I think that occupies everybody that's on this call, right? Or do we need to start working on, some of these other critical features in parallel? Would you like to wrap these up first before we begin going into the next round? I mean, we haven't prioritized everything, but I've really just been focusing on these four criticals.
Yeah, I really think we should try to get like at least one or two over the finish line, just like we did with the standards.
Okay, great. Any updates on multi-client ecosystem support that we need to talk about next steps here, or is this still in early draft stage?
Yeah. One question I have is like, can we also have like workshop for this so that we can yeah, make progress in this also?
So you want to add some additional tags here for what software it is?
No, workshops just like for standards, you're saying.
Oh, sure. Sure, we can definitely schedule a workshop. Um, our Friday workshop is are booked up this week, but let me add that to the.
Should be like a next Friday workshop, like we said, 1 week standard, 1 week features? Or is it too little?
Well, I think we've been trying to do a lot of workshops during this meeting for features, and use the workshops like the workshops that we've been using quite extensively is for that on Fridays were for standards. And this week's Friday is already going to be booked up, but we can try to do it the following week. That's fine.
Yeah. And we do have some time today. I mean, as you can see, the next item on my agenda after the updates is to have a working session.
I get a hard stop in like 4 minutes, so if you need me for
Okay.
anything, now's the time.
Yeah, I don't think there's
And
any. I don't have any additional questions. Do you, Jordan?
I just wanted to add one quick thing. I think that in general, as an organization, doing 2 week sprints for these like kind of like macro level meetings is good. So it's like every 2 weeks we will have one meeting for feature design or feature standards, and then also having one workshop every 2 weeks for both of those. So right there, that's like four meetings. And then in addition to that, we can have the roadmap execution and roadmap planning meetings every 2 weeks, I think. I was just thinking about this the other day, and I wanted to propose this all to the group. So yeah, I'll probably post something in the chats later about this, but I just wanted to throw that out there while we're talking about cadence. I think that 2 week sprints for these macro level meetings is probably a good idea.
Yeah, I can definitely second that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, Naresh. Yeah, I just wanted to add that for the working groups, if you're in like the CLI working group or the protocol working group, feel free to meet every week if that's what works best for you. This would just be 2 week sprints for like the org wide meetings. Yeah.
So are
yeah,
you?
and I think
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
the yeah, I think the next meeting is for like sorry, next session is for the next workshop is for the uh, standard, and after that there will be like standard technical counseling. So I think that timeline just works out like after the workshop of particular standard or feature, we will have the meeting for standard or feature. So I think that will work out, and yeah. The next workshop should be like for features, so that the next meeting when we discuss the feature, we will have something to like present and like discuss about.
So to summarize, what you're saying is that on Wednesday we'll have this feature meeting, and then on Friday we'll have workshops for standards, and next Wednesday we'll have the standards Wednesday meeting and workshops for features. I, yeah, for features, sort of in that 2 week cadence. Is that? Am I understanding that
Yeah.
correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, because then we'll have our workshops, and that'll feed into the following Wednesday meeting. I think that's a good way to do things. All right.
Yeah, totally.
All right, great. So next week we'll, in addition to the, scheduling a multi-client ecosystem support workshop for the, what's that, the 17th. We'll need to decide what
Yeah,
other feature we're going to work on
that
for the
sounds good.
workshops.
I gotta have stuff, guys. Let's see
Okay.
you.
Thanks,
Take
Shirley.
care.
Okay. I think we're well organized. So, do we want to do a working session now?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to share their screen, or are you going to do heads down work?
Yeah, so you're just thinking out loud here. If people are working on things, I would say feel free to share your screen maybe, so that others can maybe see what you're doing and maybe help out. Um, and yeah, feel free to let others know what you're doing, or plan on doing. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, sounds
Uh,
good.
quick question, just to make sure. Like in the overall project, or this is related to the standards, or yeah.
Yeah, so ideally it would be related to what we're talking about today.
Okay.
Um,
Features.
so I'll start. For me, I'm going to first draft up like a meeting schedule to propose to the DAO. And then after that, I'm gonna continue working on the restructuring of the manifests. Yeah, to try and move that issue along a little farther.
Okay.
Yeah, and if anyone else wants to tell, the rest of the people here what you plan on working on.
So a while ago, I had a conversation with Jordan about some additions that we could make to the URI resolvers, and I think that they would be like extremely helpful. Um, and I would like to condense like what we talked the other day and try to give it like a bit of structure. So I will probably push that one along and ping the others as I go. But that would probably be like the most concrete short-term task that I would probably undertake.
Yeah, for me, I am currently like working on the new workflow design, and I have already like added support for the running workflow in the client, and now I am porting the support to the CLI so that we can define the workflow file in the YAML and JSON, and it can be run on the CLI. The next step would be to just add a simple uh, yeah, simple way to like validate outputs that are produced by this workflow file with the help of Kubelet. So yeah, I'll also add support for that next, and yeah, that will be like related to what we want to achieve in the long run with the integration testing framework.
Cool. So in my side, I will review the Niraj pull request, which basically add these workflows, so I can get a better understanding of this and yeah, try to contribute more. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Also, Jordan, would be awesome if we can, yeah, like have a catch up regarding. I know you're going through the, yeah, to check my changes. So I think this is related somehow to the manifest, yeah, scheme. So yep, we can brimstone there if needed.
Okay, sounds good. I'll hit you up when I'm done with what I'm doing right now.
Good.
Well, I was just wondering if there's going to be anyone who has availability in this last half hour to get me up to speed on the multi-client ecosystem support situation. We're going to be implementing at least part of that over the next 2 months here at PLBV, so I wanted to dip my toes in the water and get myself situated in the actual standardization of what this is going to look like. If there's anyone who has any insight on the status of this ticket that could fill me in, that would be really great.
Yeah, I'd like to volunteer Nestor if he's here.
Could you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, so Matt is looking for somebody to catch him up on what our progress looks like on the multi-client ecosystem, like standard, basically the designs that we've made.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure. I could do that. And however you want to go about it, we could have a chat after this meeting if you like, or whenever.
If you're free during the time block of this meeting, that would be really good. If not, I can join after.
I think you guys
Sure,
could do it right
yeah.
here in this channel because, Jordan's working on the calendar. It might be better for one of you to share your screen and let's go through that.
Yeah. 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 So. Uh, right. Yeah. I remember that we had a draft, a HackMD draft. I'm gonna look for it just a second.
Yeah, I think it's posted in that issue for the features board. Yeah.
Have you been able to find it, Nestor?
Yeah. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna share my screen and talk a bit about this. So so far, what we've talked about this is basically that we think that within this whole multi-client ecosystem support endeavor, it'd be probably cool to extract the core of the client, or maybe like standard Polywrap client functionality, and extract it and implement it as a C standard library, which is something that we could do with multiple implementation languages,
So
and it could also be imported in multiple implementation languages.
I'm sorry to
So
interrupt, but your screen's not sharing for me. Is it working
No,
for everybody else?
yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah.
oh
Can
yeah,
you
Yeah,
restart?
same
Can you
problem.
restart your stream, Nestor?
oh sure.
Please.
How about now?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so yeah, what we've talked on this topic was basically extract the client's core functionality, or core functions or utilities, and put them into a C standard library or something of the sort, just so that we could have like base building blocks that could be imported into multiple implementation languages, and it would not only help with avoiding code duplication, but um, it will also help with performance probably. I was doing some research on how would that work. For example, if we wanted to import a C standard library written in Rust, let's say, like previously written in Rust, and then importing it in Python, and it seems that we have performance gains there as well. We haven't gone like too deep into this. But this is what we took last time. We, however, came into the conclusion and the agreement that that the fact that this looks good doesn't mean that this should block the development of other non-JavaScript Polywrap clients. Like, if any, this will probably be an improvement in the long run, that we could take the time to refactor when the time is right. And I think that the only other thing that is probably missing in this document, but maybe it may be somewhere in the issue, or in the previous meetings notes, is basically that we need to come up with a refined, durable structure for feature support, such as feature matrices, and come up with a way on how we're going to handle, you know, version control and things like that, which is something very basic that we haven't really fleshed out yet. But I think that this is everything that we've had so far in regards to this particular topic. Does this all make sense?
Yeah, looks good so far.
Cool. So I think that the work that needs to be done here is probably not starting with what you're seeing in the screen, but rather we could take care of some other, like, more basic, more immediate things, like the feature matrices, and how are we gonna, like, handle that? Really flesh that out, and then afterwards we could come back here, because this is more like a mid to long-term goal.
Mm-hmm. And when you say feature matrices, do you mean sort of solidifying what the features are that should be functionally instantiated in all the clients? And
Yeah.
okay, is that something that's critical to the actual effort to have multiple clients, or is that something that's more of a like organizational wide? What features do we have standard type thing?
Uh, uh, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that in the organizational side, it'd probably be more immediate, because it's a bit hard to say, um, in the other side without, like having defined the full client standard yet. But yeah.
Right. So, is there work being done to make the standards for actual functionality of the client, like a standard of what a Polywrap client looks like? I assume that's on a different ticket somewhere.
Yeah. It has its own ticket. But I believe we haven't gone deep into that one yet. But we could definitely work off of what we have, and make that a priority, and try to flesh it out as we go. Because
Yeah,
we definitely have the knowledge. It's just that it's not written down.
yeah. I just wanted to add that I feel like what you just described is the process of trying to reduce code duplication across clients, or trying to make creating clients easier. But I remember we also created a document where we focused on creating a test harness for these clients that was like over HTTP. Do you remember talking about that?
I do, but that one had its own different ticket. And that you associated with this issue because in a conversation about this issue, like that one about a generic multiple client test harness was brought up, but it was worked like in a separate thing. I could take a quick look for it.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I'm gonna look for that because I feel like that's the thing that we need to define first here. Is we're gonna have a Python client, and so we need to have a way of having a feature matrix that is done through like an automated test harness. So we can automatically test okay, like both of these clients support this feature in the matrix.
Right. That would be the goal for getting a standard out quickly. I know that's what we intend to do at PWB in July, is to look towards implementing something like that, if not just for the Python client, possibly for any other clients that exist at that point. It would be in I think the organization's best interest to have that roll out sooner rather than later, given the speed with which these clients may begin appearing. To have this sort of HTTP or whatever other process, right, be made available to ensure that what we've built actually does what we say it does across the board in a abstracted way. So independently of any one language being able to have a abstracted definition of the actual functions of the Polywrap client as a web API would be very, very useful for that.
Yep, yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I just sent you guys the link to it like we talked about it like inside of the main issue, like the multi-client
Right.
ecosystem issue.
Yeah. So actually in the issues description, we've got the notes, about that.
I'm seeing it now. Yeah, great. Okay, so what are next steps on this multi-client ecosystem, both in terms of the test harness, which is potentially something to be standardized and implemented in the coming month, and for the code deduplication single Rust library effort? Where do we go to next? Because I haven't been in one of these technical council meetings yet, so I'm not sure what the protocol is.
Hey, I'm sorry. I think I missed the question. What was the question?
Oh, sorry, I said, what's next steps? I'm not familiar with the protocol that you guys follow here at these technical council meetings, but we've got something started here, it looks like, on these multi-client ecosystem situations, both the test harness and the sort of Rust ABI or CABI. What are next steps for us in terms of getting further input, defining this further, getting it off the ground, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we're not familiar with the process either because we're still trying to figure it out. But I think that with this one, we have some initial thoughts that we've put down. I think that, you and Nestor should discuss those initial thoughts. I think that we've identified that there's a few different pieces to this. There's one piece about, the test harness. There's another piece about having reusable client libraries. Maybe there's another part. And so yeah, just trying to create a design for what this means. And then once you have something that you feel good about, we're all here to look at it and provide feedback and try to get it to, like a agreed upon state. Yeah, so it's basically up to you, but the end goal is to have like a good design for what, this thing looks like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think this is at the feature level, so I think we can schedule a workshop for you to meet with our team to to finalize the definition requirements for the feature, and then it will be prioritized for the roadmap. And then beyond that, we can schedule more time to determine whether that converts to standards, and if so, then we can define a standard for that as well. But that's post implement in alignment with implementation. Am I thinking about it the right way, Jordan, from your perspective, and the rest of the team console? We're defining this at the feature level, right? At this time.
Yep, yeah, for sure. Yep.
So the goal would be to, fully flesh out the spec for the feature, and then determine, and then there is another decision point to determine the place in the roadmap for it.
Got it. Good. Then I'd love to find some time to sit down with who's on this, Yuri and Nestor, to maybe have a little powwow about pushing this forward. This isn't something that PWV internally is going to be working on until at least July. I think we're prioritizing the actual Python client implementation first.
So Joe, let's add that to the features list and then schedule a workshop with PWV, Matt, and who is, sorry, you were talking to Nestor about that?
Yeah.
And Nestor, you as well, right?
Yep.
You can participate in that. Okay, cool, Joe. So you got that, right?
Yep.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one minor thing. Eugene, I think that the roadmap planning and the execution of like these features, it's going to be sectioned off from this meeting. I think that for this one specifically, we should just be concerned about like, yeah, just the design.
Yeah, that I agree. I didn't mean that the roadmap discussion was part of this meeting. I think that but it is the next step in determining whether the feature is when the feature is going to get implemented. So once the spec is defined, right, for the feature, then for any feature that we're discussing, then there's a separate discussion point at the roadmap planning level as to where's the place for it on the roadmap. But so our features process can feed that, but obviously it's outside of the roadmap discussion.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Yep.
Great. In that case, I'm all set on multi-client support. Thanks everyone for cluing me in on what's been going on. I'm excited to start working on this. I'd love it if we could hopefully have something that looks like a feature design done come July, just so we can start working on it on our side of PWV, with a better grasp in mind of what exactly it's going to look like. And then again, I know that we're looking to roadmap this, so hopefully this is something that can be roadmapped by mid-July or something like that, if only so that we can have a standard to work against. It's not a hard requirement, obviously, on our ends. We're going to build it either way. But I'd love it if we could have some unity on what it is exactly that these client harnesses are going to look like, what exactly this web API spec is going to look like, so that we can have fewer surprises down the line, I'll say.
Yep, for sure. Sounds good. Yeah, it'll definitely be a priority now that the Python client is underway, for sure.
I think we're 5 minutes before the top of the hour, Joe. We want to do a time check.
Yeah. I mean, I see that Jordan's been working on the calendar and the meeting cadence. And then we covered the stuff on the multi-client ecosystem. Are there any other topics we need to review before we wrap up here in 5 minutes? No? Okay, great. I think it's another very productive meeting, so thank you, everyone. And we'll be having feature workshops on the 17th. So, we have one identified right now for the multi-client ecosystem support, and we can, identify next Wednesday if there's another one, or if we want to do the testing framework or one of the other ones that we can identify now, we can put that on the schedule.
And for the 10th, for this Friday, I sent out 3 invitations, set up 3 meetings for invocation standard. In parallel at the same time, serialization standard, that's 1 hour, and then following that is URI resolver standard. So if you see that your name is not on the, I think I did a pretty good job getting all the names invited to those meetings, but if you don't see your name on the invitation, please let me know, I'll add it. And I think that should do it. We're looking forward to seeing you guys all on Friday for technical console workshops for standards.
Great. All right.
Anything else? Any other? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Anything else, anybody, before we wrap up? No? Great. Well,
Yeah, I just want to say I think we're definitely getting better at this. But yeah, it's definitely becoming a cool process to be a part of. So thanks so much, Eugene and Joe, for all the thought that you guys have put into this.
Thank you. One that brings up an interesting question. We've been doing this for a couple of months now. It may be a good idea for us to just one of the council meetings dedicate to retrospective for both topics. Just kind of walk through our, the typical retrospective process, go through and talk about what works, what doesn't, what needs to be changed, and see how we can continuously improve this flow.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Whatever works best for you guys, since you're stewarding this process. So if you'd like to have one of those ASAP, then yeah, let's do it.
Well, let me talk to Joe and we'll organize that. We'll just try to use one of the existing slots for this and maybe just add it to agenda for the next meeting and go through it in like half an hour period, so we can still have some of the acceptance during that same session. Okay.
All right, great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.